Hello, City Skylines fans. I'm SocksWayUp, and welcome back to another episode of Lake Sockside. Today is episode 21. Kind of a filler episode. We are finishing up this area that we've been working on over the last few episodes. We took a break from it last episode, but we're back doing some zoning, adding in some more of those big suburb houses, but we're placing down a few of them on our own where the zoning doesn't completely match. A couple episodes ago, we talked about how making the roads fit the zone for the size of the buildings that you want for your district. I decided to mix it up a little bit and have some areas that didn't actually zone themselves, so we did have to plop some of them down. You can see them coming in nice there. And we're adding in a little bit of a path here, decorating it up with some forest brush tool, calling another subdivision done. All right. So we did some residential there. Now we're going to move into an industry section. We're building a warehouse complex. I was really trying to fill some of the space here with some larger buildings. I was wanting to mix that up from the rest of the area, and you'll see in the little cinematics later what I mean by this section. I didn't really show it before we started building it where we're actually at. If you're familiar with the city, there's a good idea there where we're copying and pasting these rocks to kind of finish off this area that we did about 75% of in a previous episode. Again, kind of finishing some loose ends in this episode as we lead into some more builds. In this clip here, you can see a good example of how to use the building spawn locations mod, or building spawn points mod, where you click on the building with the mod enabled and you can change where each type of vehicle spawns on the building. Very cool feature. So we get that going. We have this one spawn for the cargo truck by this garage or door on the side, and we copy it and paste it to the other building that kind of matches. Very cool. You can change the way those vehicles spawn, as you see right there, and come in so they don't just all pile up on the front of the building. I love it. It's a great mod. It's a must-have mod in my opinion for detailed city skylines. Here we're just doing some detailing of the back of this warehouse where there's just extra products. They didn't have anywhere to store it inside, so they decided to set this up behind this fence that they have secure. They're securing their goods in the back here, and I just thought it was really fun to do this part and detail it out. And as I start studying more and more buildings in real life and industry areas, I noticed there is space. There's a lot of space in these buildings that a lot of the times when I play City Skylines or people play vanilla, we cram all these buildings right on top of each other, right connected to each other, and it's not completely realistic. There are certain areas of the world where that is realistic, but other areas it's definitely not, and I think that's what we're trying to get to here. We're trying to have this larger complex that has some space, has some extra real estate that they have for storage in the back of their building, and they're utilizing it, and that's what we're doing here with this detailing. This next section here, we're doing a little bit more finishing up this area, as we've mentioned a few times. This is where we're cramming some buildings together, some of these smaller ones, but then giving them some parking for space. Obviously, these buildings are smaller than the warehouses we're just working on, so they don't need as much space. At least that's how it works in my head, so it kind of matches that concept that we're talking about, where some of these buildings are going to need a lot of space in their own real estate to take care of all the goods that they have to maintain. And these other ones, they're just more specialized shops, and they don't need as much storage or warehouse space as the other bigger buildings do. And here we're doing a little gas station and a little complex here to add a little bit of commercial before we transition into the next part of the build. Kind of just thinking of this realistically, we're coming off the highway not too far from here. A gas is a good option, some commercial places for people to shop while they're working, get some parking in there. And then we're going to do this curb setup that I've been really falling in love with for finishing parking lots and finishing these areas around parking. But then we realize this one isn't realistic, so we get rid of this. We add a service road for the cargo vehicles to be able to come in, drop off the goods for these places so they don't pile up on the front. Again, utilizing that mod and making it a little bit more realistic feel for these buildings, and find one that fits a little bit better there as well. Then we're going to detail up this little curved area with some trees. We're starting to use this dead one a little bit more and placing down a lot more leaves and getting it more of a fall feel, even though we're into the winter. I did want to get to this and finish it before winter got here, but that didn't happen, and we move on, and it's 2022 now. Happy New Year. Forgot to mention that at the beginning of the episode. But yeah, adding in some more trees. I was playing around with this one for a while, finally got it into a location where I wanted. One of the things with the tree spinning like that, I do like that, but I wish there was an option, and maybe I need to look into this to avoid it spinning and then move it exactly how we want to, but we'll figure that out later. Welcome to Lake Sockside Home Depot shopping complex. I had fun building this off camera and wanted to finish this area off during this episode. So we added in a Dick's Sporting Goods, an LA Fitness, and Tree Anarchy is driving me nuts at this point. I'm trying to understand the new mod, or the update to the mod. We had a Safeway as well as a Steinmart. Kind of finishes up this complex and then do a little bit of detailing again, consistently trying to make it more realistic in these parking lots as well, adding these access areas and utilizing the mod again for spawning the locations of the cargo trucks. And it helps like just having that mod has helped me be more realistic with the way that I'm building parking lots. And again, it's a cool mod to have, must-have mod in my opinion, because it makes you think a little differently about things more realistically versus Vanilla City Skylines. But we're going on here, we're detailing this up. We're going to adjust the road height there with the back of the building because it made some of our trees disappear, and once we fix it, that fixes, you can see right here, spawn points here. And then once we adjust this other road, it was very strange to me, and I'm trying to understand some of the changes to the Tree Anarchy, and maybe I need to really read the notes a little bit more. But you can see all those trees came back. It's magic. I don't get it. Then we finish off the area with more curbing and tree details. Well, Happy New Year. Another episode of Lake Sockside is down. Again, it was kind of a filler episode. Sorry for there not being anything really huge in this episode, but we are getting to the point where I'm just finishing up some loose ends of areas. Next episode, we'll have a little bit bigger, more specialized video for you. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for episode number 21 of Lake Sockside. I'm enjoying the process still. Kind of ready to be done with it, though, to be honest with you. Ready to stare at a new city and the project we got going for this year. I'm excited about. I'm SocksWayUp, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Lake Sockside.